exchange rate determination. In the market, you will often come across two rates, that is spot rate and forward rate. In spot rate is the rate paid for delivery within 2 business working days after a transaction take place. In forward rates, rates are standardized rates for the future dates. It comes in 130 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 180 days, and it is often counted from the date of transaction to the expiries will be often the month ends. Now let's look into some of the interesting exchange rate theories. Interest rate parity, purchasing power parity, international five-star effect. Now let's first look into interest rate parity. Parity in common parlance means a state of equality. Interest rate parity defines what forward rate should be. Interest rate parity theory states a forward premium or a discount should be equal to the interest rate differential between two countries. So before we go into the equation of finding out forward rate in interest rate parity, let's look into some of the implications of different interest rates into different countries. Why it's important, and let's try to understand it first. When two countries have different interest rate, an arbitrage emerges. An arbitrage in its naive form means buy low and sell high. From one market we are buying the goods for low price and we are selling it in another market with a higher price. These prices already exist in the market. We just take the advantage of the situation. So another one more idea is what is a covered transaction, what is an uncovered transaction. In forex, a covered transaction will be whatever the transaction with a forward contract in place. So a transaction which has a forward contract in its embedded form, then we can say it's a covered transaction. When there is no forward contracts embedded in the transaction, then we can say it's an uncovered one. It's a process of risk mitigation in for the if as there is a chance for rate changes in forex in future. Now let's understand the concept behind interest rate parity with an example. Here, two countries, say India and US, is involved, and in India we have higher interest rate, uh, and while in the US it has lower interest rate. This can be due to differences in economic factors. We are not going to look into that. So in India the interest rate is 10%, and in US it's 8%. Thus, if there is no currency difference, it means that a person in US can borrow at 8% and invest the same amount in India and earn 10%. Thus, he can make a 2% interest rate in differential. Interest rate 2% interest he can earn from this arbitrage scenario. But the difference in currency, but when we are thinking like he needs to convert the currencies, right? So when we are bringing that into the equation, the whole thing changes. Then we have to see, then let's see what are the acts he plays to make this investment works. So first he has to as like any investor, he has to find capital, then he has to convert this capital, then he has to invest this one, and then once the investment period is over, he has to liquidate. Then again he has to convert back, then he has to pay back whatever he borrowed. Then so some after all this done, there may be something left, that will be his profit. And now elaborating the same example, interest rate in India is 10%, in US it's 8%, and an exchange rate is we can say 70 per US dollars, 70 rupees per US dollars. Available borrow limit for the investor is $1,000, and period here we are taking is 12 months. It's for easier calculation. So he borrows $1,000 means he has to pay 8% interest. Thus interest for 1 year it will be $80. So the total payment he has to have for repayment is $1,080. Now once he gets his $1,000, he immediately converts it at the given rate, and he gets 70,000 rupees in hand, and he and thus he deposits this amount, and it earns 10 percentage. So annually he will it comes to 7,000. So the total amount he'll be left after 1 year will be 77,000 by the end of the year. Now he needs to convert this back to US dollars, so that he can pay off the borrowing. Now different scenarios emerges as the currency rate can be different. Exchange rate can be different, so the exchange rate can be 75, 70, or it can be even at 65. Let's see how each scenario plays out. If the exchange rate is 75, he will get 1026, and the figures are rounded for easier grasping. If the conversion rate is 70, he will get around $1,100. If it is 65, you will get around $1,184. Thus, in scenario 2 and 3, he makes a profit because he only has to pay 1080 back. But in the first scenario, he makes a loss as he has to pay more than what he receives. Thus, if the country with higher interest rate has a depreciating currency, then it is better to reverse the process to take advantage of the situation. Here we have to borrow in the country with a higher interest rate. Thus we incur interest rate of 10%, that is 7,000. Total we have to pay back is 77,000. Now this 70,000 is converted into US dollars, and we invest the same in say in US market, and an interest of 8%. That's after 1 year we get $1,080. Now we need to convert it back to pay off the borrowing. So when we are converting this $1,080, we get 81,000. But we only have to pay 77,000 as our accrued the principal with accrued interest it only comes to 77,000. Thus we can make a profit of 4,000. Now let's see the equation. The actual equation is ratio of forward rate ratio between forward rate and spot rate equals 1 plus rate of interest of foreign currency and rate of interest of in home currency, divided by 1 plus rate of interest in home currency. If we made some manipulations, we can make another equation. Forward rate equals as spot rate times 1 plus rate differential, that is rate of interest in foreign currency minus rate of interest in home currency. And we can go for an example here. For let's apply it in an equation. We have US dollars at USD INR at 72, that is 72 rupees per dollar. Then India we have the interest rate is 10%, and in US it is 5%, and 1 year forward rate will be 70. If you are applying IRP equation, we get 72, that is spot rate, multiplied by 1 plus, that is already 1. Then we have rate differential. We have to calculate foreign currency interest rate minus we have to deduct the home country's interest rate, that is 10%. So we have 0.05 minus 0.10, and we arrive at when we are solving this, we get 68.39 as the forward rate.